Good afternoon, everyone who are present here. Myself, Sangita Singh. In today's in-house training session on the training, topic is teaching and learning style. It's a very fortunate day for me, that I have got for opportunities for giving me my management and all the members. So let's start today's topic, teaching and learning style. So I want to give you a short intro about what is teaching style and what is learning style. First of all, what is the meaning of learning? Your learning style, your learning preference, your knowing about your learning be more protected, increase achievements, more creative, problem solving, better decision and more effectively. The terms learning style speaks to understanding that every student learns differently. Teaching and individual learning style refers to prefectual based in which the student absorb process and written information. Understanding learning style can make it easier to create, modify and develop more efficient curriculum and educational progress. It can also encourage an educational program. It can also encourage student participants in this program and motivation them to gain professional knowledge. What is meaning of learning? सीखना है क्या? सीखना जो है, सीखना एक व्यापक, सतत या निरंतर चलने वाली प्रक्रिया है। हम हर वक्त कुछ न कुछ सीखते रहते हैं। ये एक ऐसी प्रक्रिया है जो मनुष्य जन्म लेने के बाद से वो सीखना प्रारंभ करता है और जीवन भर वो कुछ न कुछ क्या करता है? सीखता रहता है और वह अपने आप को क्या करता है? उसी के अनुरूप ढाल लेता है। Teaching and learning is a process that includes the variable as a trains work toward their goals and incorporate new knowledge, behaviors and skills that add to their range of learning experience. सीखना जरूरी है। कामयाबी या सक्सेस के लिए सीखने की क्या कोई उम्र होती है क्या? नहीं। अभी तक हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? सीख ही रहे हैं। ऐसा नहीं कि वी आर टीचर्स और हम लोग बिल्कुल परफेक्ट है। हम लोग अभी भी अगर क्लास में जाते हैं तो बच्चे के थ्रू भी बहुत कुछ हमें नॉलेज गेन होता है और छोटे छोटे बच्चे भी हमें कुछ न कुछ ऐसी चीजें सिखा देते हैं जो हमें ये फील कराती है कि अभी भी हम बच्चों से कुछ सीख सकते हैं। जो सीखने में विश्वास रखता है वही क्या करता है? गलतियां कम करता है। और गलतियां होती है, गलतियां सबसे होती है। गलती करेंगे तभी तो हम सीखेंगे और उसकी सफलता के अवसर भी क्या होते हैं? ज्यादा होते हैं जो सीखने की कोशिश करते हैं। कहा जाता है एक कुशल श्रोता ही एक अच्छा वक्ता होता है। इज इट राइट और रॉन्ग? अगर आप सुनोगे तभी आप उसको इम्प्लीमेंट में ला सकते हो या फिर बता सकते हो, हाँ मैं वहां गई थी या फिर मैं वहां गया था तो मेरे को ये ट्रेनिंग दी गई। और वैसे भी अ गुड लर्नर इज अ गुड टीचर, है ना? टीचर तो अच्छे लर्नर होते ही हैं क्योंकि जीवन पर्यंत उन्हें क्या होता है? सीखना ही होता है और यही सीखी हुई चीजें वे अपने बच्चों को सिखाते हैं। पहले हम किसी सब्जेक्ट का अध्ययन करते हैं, अगर उसको अच्छी तरह लर्न कर सकते हैं तो वो हम क्या कर सकते हैं? सिखा सकते हैं। आप भी पहले क्लास अटेंड करने के पहले आप लोग लेसन प्लान बनाते हो, कुछ घर पे कुछ सीखते हो, तभी आप आकर क्लास लेते हो ना, क्लास में आकर। ऐसा नहीं कि अचानक आ गए और शुरू हो गए, वैसा तो हो नहीं सकता। योर लर्निंग स्टाइल इज योर लर्निंग प्रेफरेंस। योर लर्निंग स्टाइल हेल्प यू टू बी मोर प्रोजेक्टिव, increase achievements, be more creative, improve problem solving, make better decisions, learn more effectively. ये तो हुई लर्निंग की बात। लर्निंग विदाउट रिफ्लेक्शन इज आवर बेस्ट रिफ्लेक्शन, विदाउट लर्निंग इज डेंजरस। कहा जाता है अगर हम कुछ किसी को सिखाने के लिए जा रहे हैं तो आधा अधूरा नॉलेज लेकर नहीं जाना चाहिए। नॉलेज पूरी तरह होनी चाहिए। अगर डॉक्टर, एग्जाम्पल डॉक्टर, अगर वो बिना नॉलेज के वो किसी का ऑपरेशन करे या कुछ करे तो वो हमारे लिए क्या हो सकता है, डेंजरस हो सकता है। स्टैनफोर्ड के थॉट के अनुसार लर्निंग एज अ रिलेटिवली enduring change is behavior brought about as a consequence of experience. Learning is a process that leads to change which occurs as a result of experience and increase the potential for improvement, performance and future learning. Learning है क्या? एक निरंतर चलने वाली प्रक्रिया है। जीवन पर्यंत हम लोग क्या करते हैं, सीखते रहते हैं, और हमें क्या होता है वो हमारे एक्सपीरियंस से आता है। हम जितना एक्सपीरियंस गेन करेंगे उतना ही हम क्या कर पाएंगे, सीख पाएंगे, और वही सीख हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को, अपने बच्चों को दे सकते हैं। लर्निंग इज द प्रोसेस ऑफ acquiring न्यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग, नॉलेज, बिहेवियर, स्किल, वैल्यूज, attitudes and preference. That ability to learn is present by humans, animals and some machines. That is also evidence for some kinds of learning is certain tasks. This is called a learning style. And what is meaning of learning? There are 4 core of learning style. Can you say which one? First is visual learning, second is auditory learning, third is kinesthetic learning, and fourth is write and read. First is visual learning. What is visual learning? Yes. Visual learning. There are 4 courses. Can you say in a project board? First is visual, second is auditory, third is read and write, and fourth is kinesthetic. ठीक है? First is visual learning. Before that, a small video for you. What is teaching style?
Here's Jonathan studying for a test. And studying, and studying, and studying. And here he is getting his test results. All that studying and he still got an F. Why? The thing is, there's no one right way to study. Some methods might work great for one person and not at all for others. Everybody learns differently. In order to find a study method that's best for you, it's important to know your learning style. The 4 most popular learning styles are visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic, or hands-on. For most people, one of these methods will work best, but it's also possible for a combination of different styles to be effective. To discover your learning style, you can complete an online assessment. There's a wide variety of them available, consisting of multiple choice questions. However, you can also observe yourself and your previous learning experiences to get an idea of how you learn best. Let's circle back to Jonathan. When he's in class and his teacher is lecturing, he gets distracted pretty easily. Words tend to go in one ear and out the other. But when his teacher starts using visuals, Jonathan finds it easier to focus and understand the material. So he might be a visual learner. Now think about your history. How have you enjoyed learning in the past? Do you prefer watching over listening? Do you enjoy reading instead? Or maybe you learn best by doing, with hands-on experience. If none of these seem to grab you, give them each a try and see which one you tend to drift towards. Each learning style has its own study methods that work best with it. Let's take a look at how Jonathan and a few of his classmates study. As a visual learner, Jonathan finds it helpful to color code his notes. He finds it helps him to organize information and internalize it better. He also creates diagrams while studying, finding that they help him to better understand certain structures and ideas. Jonathan watches videos too, finding them helpful for extra information. Ruby is more of an auditory learner. She likes to study in a group and discuss the material with others. Sometimes she'll read her notes out loud because it helps her to hear what she's studying. In some classes, Ruby will record the lecture, with her teacher's permission of course, so that she can go back and listen to it later. Terrell finds that he learns best by reading and writing. He takes substantial notes during class and reads over them often. When he's trying to memorize something, he'll often write it out. He also makes sure to read and reread any materials his teacher has assigned the class. Raya is a kinesthetic learner. She's got a lot of energy and likes doing things. Labs and hands-on activities help her to understand certain ideas and topics. Sometimes she'll review her material while she's walking around. She also likes to take breaks in order to release some of her energy, allowing her to focus when she returns to studying. All four of these students are studying the same material, but they're doing so in different ways. Now, this doesn't guarantee that they'll all get the same grades, but by determining their learning style and finding study methods that work for them, they just might find themselves getting better results.
GCF Global, creating opportunities for a better life.
In this video, आप लोगों ने भी क्या देखा? Anyone? In this video,
I also seen first बच्चे का जब रिपोर्ट कार्ड आता है तो वो फेल हो जाता है. Then after वो सीखने का अपना तरीका को चेंज करता है, उसके बाद वो उसमें इम्प्रूवमेंट आता है. धीरे धीरे सीखने के बाद उसमें इम्प्रूवमेंट आता है.
थैंक यू. तो ये वीडियो से हमने ये सीखा कि बच्चा कैसे धीरे धीरे इम्प्रूव करता है, कैसे कैसे वो सीखता है, और सीखने की इसी प्रक्रिया को क्या बोलते हैं? लर्निंग. So first, there are four codes of learning style. First is visual learning. First is visual learning. Learn through seeing and reading before written direction, often good readers. Visual learning learn best with the pictures, photos, graphs, diagrams and maps. Seeing is believing, and visual learning typically learn by what they are able to see or visualize. People who learn better visually usually like to have a front row seats, whether in the classroom or at a sporting event or movie theaters. For the best view, many are good writers and perform well on written assignments. There are process information better when instructions are written down rather than spoken. out loud. This sometimes makes following lectures and classroom discussion more difficult, especially they are unable to take notes. For this time, ये टिप्स को हम लोग अपनाकर विजुअल लर्निंग यूज कर सकते हैं. यूज चार्ट पेपर, मैप्स, पोस्टर एंड वीडियोस whenever possible to study. आप लोग विजुअल लर्निंग जब आप बच्चों को कराना चाहें तो उसके लिए आप लोग क्या क्या यूज कर सकते हो. आप लोग फोटोज के थ्रू कर सकते हो, बना सकते हो, कुछ प्रोजेक्ट दिखा सकते हो, मैप्स बनाकर विजुअल लर्निंग करवा सकते हो. सबसे बेटर ऑप्शन है स्मार्ट क्लास फॉर विजुअल लर्निंग. तो स्मार्ट क्लास में तो आज हम लोगों को सारी फैसिलिटीज मिली हुई है. आप लोग डाउनलोड कर लो. जो भी आप लोगों का लर्निंग पॉइंट है, जो भी आप लोगों को सिखाना है, वो आप लोग स्मार्ट क्लास में आकर उसको विजुअलाइज करवा सकते हो और दे कैन मेक लर्न इजीली. It usually best to study alone in a quiet atmosphere. Use colored highlighters to make important notes and main ideas. आप लोग तो टीचर हो, आप लोगों को ये बताने की जरूरत नहीं है कैसे कैसे विजुअलाइज करके आप लोग बच्चे को पढ़ा सकते हो. Write down information that you want to remember, such as notes from the board or a verbal instruction. Blackboard तो हम लोग का है ही अच्छा विजुअलाइज ऑब्जेक्ट है जहाँ पे आप हमेशा रिटन वर्क करते हो. बच्चे उन्हें देखते हैं और देखकर नोट्स बनाते हैं, सीखते हैं. लेकिन बेटर वो अंडरस्टैंड, समझ सके, सीख सके. आप लोग क्या करते हो, मेन पॉइंट को आप लोग वहाँ पे क्या करवा लेते हो, अंडरलाइन करवा लेते हो, ताकि वो बच्चे उस पर ज़्यादा ध्यान दें और अच्छी तरह उसको सीख सके. Ask for a verbal instruction to be repeated for a better understanding. Rewrite key points or a explanation for that difficult to recall. Whenever possible, use your own visual image to relate to the topic being discussed. कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है ना कि आप लोग अपने को रिलेट करके जो भी आप लोगों को डिस्क्राइब करना हो आप उनको समझा सकते हो. Look over new material by scanning the picture and titles indicating before reading. आप सबसे अच्छा ऑप्शन है ऑनलाइन का है. आप लोग ऑनलाइन के जरिए उसको अच्छी शिक्षा दे सकते हो. कुछ बेस्ट विजुअल लर्नर स्टडीज मेथड है. Some of the best visual learner study method, the use of color pencil and highlighter to bring attention to important information when taking notes. First point. Second is color coding course material by subject to organize class notes. Creating mind maps when brainstorming and or outline information. Hand drawing chart, tables and picture when taking notes in a class. Sitting close to the front of the classroom to see the teacher or professor better than any learning material presented via slides on a chalkboard. Slide दिखाकर भी हम लोग को क्या करते हैं, सिखा सकते हैं. Incorporate visual aids when studying such as flashcards, videos or picture. Flashcard के जरिए भी हम लोग बहुत सारा इंटरप्रिटेशन कर सकते हैं. Use outline to recognize notes by concept to topic. Replace words in notes with the visual symbols to help engage the mind when studying. Watch videos on a curious topic rather in addition to the use of textbook. Keep track of homework and project by creating lists that can be easily viewed and checked off as the tasks are completed. अब हम लोग कैसे मतलब वो कर सकते हैं, हाउ टू टीच विजुअल लर्नर्स. मेनी टिप्स आर अवेलेबल फॉर टीचर्स एंड अदर इंस्ट्रक्शन. बहुत सारे टिप्स दिए गए हैं. वांटिंग टू नो हाउ टू टीच विजुअल लर्नर्स. लेक्चर रिप्रेजेंट एन इनवेरिएबल component of the classroom. Learning experience, however, there are many opportunities for instructor to include more visible control to help visual learners in the classroom. बहुत सारे कंटेंट हैं जो हम लोग ऑनलाइन के जरिए बच्चों को दे सकते हैं. Multimedia technique involving the use of PowerPoint slide, videos, picture and whiteboard, chalkboards can help certain visual learners. Interest subject, the distribution of handout, the importance of concepts and topic in the lesson can be also helpful. ये हमारे लिए क्या हो गया? ऑनलाइन प्लस पॉइंट हो गया. ऑनलाइन के जरिए पहले तो हम लोग के पास वो था नहीं, ऑनलाइन हम लोग लेते नहीं थे, लेकिन अभी हम लोग के पास ये एक प्लस पॉइंट आ गया कि ऑनलाइन भी हम लोग क्लास ले सकते हैं और बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो बच्चे जानते नहीं थे या हम भी नहीं जानते थे, अभी भी हम लोगों को बहुत सारी नॉलेज नहीं है जो अब हम लोगों को नॉलेज हो रही है, तो हम लोग वो अंतिम समय तक वो हम सीखते ही रहेंगे. टिप्स फॉर विजुअल लर्नर्स: कलर कोड, ड्रॉ, create mind maps, utilizing graphic organization, outline information contained in textbook. ये सारे क्या हैं? टिप्स हैं जो आप टीचर्स इनको अपने क्लासरूम में क्या कर सकते हैं? अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. The visual learning style, often referred to as a learning style, is a way of learning in which information is associated with image or graphics. This learning style requires that learners first see what they are expected to know. People with this kind of learning style are often referred as a visual spiritual learners. Other learning styles are auditory and kinesthetic. Since visual learners process information better when it is in the form of picture, image, graphics and charts, it is important they are amend their study routine and create their learning strategies, their learning style. For this visual learning style, I would like to Pooja ma'am. Please show some activity for visual learner.
Okay, look at this. What is this? This is solar system, and this is a sun. So sun is the source of solar system, and it is the hottest planet in our solar system. And actually, sun is a star. Okay, so there is 8 solar system in our 8 planet in our solar system. So what is 10? First is our Mercury.
Mercury is a planet in the solar system. It is the very smallest planet. It is the nearest planet to the Sun and the second hottest planet. Do you know it is a rocky body, okay, and similar to the Earth. It is also called swift planet because it completes its revolution in 88 Earth days. The surface of this planet is filled with craters, mountains and valleys. Thank you.
Okay. Now next is Venus. Next is Venus. So Venus is the second planet of our solar system and it is the brightest planet in our solar system. Now third is our Earth.
Earth. So, it is a hot planet in our solar system and it is the only planet which is an exit. Now, next is our Mars. Next is our Mars. So, the fourth planet in our solar system, Mars, it is also called the red planet, Mars. Next is our Jupiter.
Here is a Jupiter and it has the largest number of satellites and it is the largest planet in our solar system.
And next is Saturn. Next is Saturn. Saturn appears yellowish in color. Saturn appears in yellowish in color. Now next.
Next is the Uranus. It is the Uranus. Uranus is the seventh planet in our solar system. Uranus is the seventh planet in our solar system. It is the second outermost planet in our solar system. And last one is Neptune. Where is Neptune? Okay. It is the last planet in our solar system.
Okay. So, look at this. This is our solar system. Okay. Now I will ask some question about solar system. So my first question is, what is Saturn?
Anyone?
Okay, very good.
Now my question is, which is the second hottest planet in the solar system? Mercury, yes.
But Mars, right?
Mercury.
Second.
Mercury.
Yes.
Mercury
Yes.
is our second planet.
And nearest planet. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
थैंक यू पूजा मैम एंड प्रेमलता मैम। आप लोगों ने विजुअल लर्निंग के थ्रू ये देखा व्हाट इज सोलर सिस्टम और जाना इसमें कितने प्लैनेट्स होते हैं। हाउ मेनी प्लैनेट्स आर देयर? 8 and 9। चलिए कुछ तो सीख मिली। दिस इज कॉल्ड विजुअल लर्नर्स। Second is auditory learning. And auditory learning is a person who best learns new information by hearing it. इसका मतलब क्या हो? वो सुनकर वो सीखता है। सबसे बेस्ट, what is the best example of auditory learning? जो junior section art and craft, drawing, rhymes, storytelling, yes. In junior section basically rhymes and storytelling. Yes. Auditory learning prefer to hear information, can absorb a lecture with little effort, may not need careful notes to learn. इसमें ज़्यादातर क्या होता है कि नोट्स लगाने की जरूरत नहीं होती, बच्चे क्या करते हैं, वो एक्शन के जरिए सीखते हैं या फिर टीचर्स उन्हें सिखाते हैं, बच्चे सुनते हैं, सुनकर वो सीखते हैं। Often avoid eyes contact in order to concentrate, may read loud to themselves, like background music when they study. ये सबसे बेटर जूनियर सेक्शन के लिए ही लगता है मेरे को। Learn through listening and talking. Remember what they hear better than what they see. Prefer to listen to instruction. Often like to talk on the phone or listen to music. Learn this if they can hear and see the assignment. Auditory learning is a learning style in which a person learns through listening, and auditory learners depend on listening and speaking as the main way of learning. Suppose that if you are auditory learners, you learn by hearing and listening. Your understanding that things you have, you store information. By the way, if sound and you have an easier time understanding spoken instruction than written form. Example, क्या दे सकते हैं इसमें? लेक्चर अलाउड वाइल स्टडिंग, मतलब जब हम क्लास में जाते हैं तो लेक्चर देते हैं, लेकिन वो लेक्चर देने का तरीका भी सही होना चाहिए। ये नहीं कि लेक्चर एकदम धीमे सुर में दे रहे हैं, बच्चे कंसंट्रेट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो वो कुछ सुनेंगे कहाँ से? तो वे ऑफ लेक्चर देने का एक वे होना चाहिए। रीडिंग अलाउड व्हाइल स्टडिंग, जैसे बच्चे को हम लोग बोर्ड पे कुछ रीड करने के लिए देते, तो टीचर्स की साउंड भी ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि वो बच्चों तक पहुंच सके, तभी वो सुनेगा और उस चीज को वो सीख पाएगा और मेंटेन करेगा। डिस्कसिंग विद अदर, आपस में हम लोग फिर उसको डिस्कस करके भी सीख सकते हैं। डिक्टेटिंग नोट्स इनटू चेक रिकॉर्डर, बहुत बार ऐसा होता है ना कि कभी कभी हम लोग क्लास में साउंड बॉक्स के जरिए कुछ राइम्स करवा देते हैं, बॉक्स ले जाते हैं, या कभी कभी कुछ डिक्टेशन। ये सबसे बेस्ट एग्जांपल है सीनियर क्लास के लिए 1 to 5 समथिंग। आप लोग जो डिक्टेट करते हो, बच्चे वो सुनेंगे तभी तो वो लिख पाएंगे। तो ऑडिटरी लर्निंग का बेस्ट एग्जांपल ये भी है। Some auditory learning strategies to help teachers in the classroom. Make sure that your student can hear you clearly. हम लोगों को ये ध्यान रखना है कि हमारे बच्चे हम लोगों को सही ढंग से सुन पा रहे हैं या नहीं। Ensure that noise level in the classroom is low. ऐसा नहीं कि हम अपना नोट्स या जो हम बोल रहे हैं बाकी पीछे में हल्ला हो रहा है और बाकी लोग कंसंट्रेट नहीं कर पा रहे। Have a large group of students, and you are having trouble with the noise level, consider passing out traps to the students can hear more easily. Use music and song. ये हमारे लिए बेस्ट ऑप्शन है ऑडिटरी लर्निंग का। One of the best ways to teach auditory learners is music and song. If you can use song to teach any subject, ये आजकल नया इम्प्लीमेंट हम कर सकते हैं कि सॉन्ग के जरिए बच्चों को पढ़ा सकते हैं। For math to history and language are the lyrics can written by you or by the student. Sometimes kids enjoy writing their lyrics because they feel, वो अपना लिरिक्स खुद ही बना लेते हैं और क्योंकि उन्हें वो करने में अच्छा लगता है और वो फील कर सकते हैं उस चीज को। They can express themselves better this way. You can play soft music or white noise to increase focus as well. Record lecture, lesson and notes for your auditory to listen to later. This is especially useful if you have a student. अब कुछ उसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स भी होते हैं ऑडिटरी लर्नर्स के। Here to learn. for auditory learning example, may I request Jyoti ma'am and Amita ma'am, please came in front and say something about auditory learning with example of rhymes.
Evening, all of you. I am Rita Krishna.
I think we switched off that. Mic. Just a check.
Teddy bear, turn around. Teddy bear, touch the ground. Teddy bear, polish your shoes. Teddy bear, up the shoes. Thank you.
माइसेल्फ ज्योति गुप्ता, मैं हिंदी राइम्स प्रस्तुत करने जा रही हूँ। हाथी राजा कहाँ चली, सूर उठा के कहाँ चली, मेरे घर भी आओ ना, हलवा पूरी खाओ ना, कुर्सी पे बैठ जाओ ना, कुर्सी बोली चटर पटर। थैंक यू।
ये ऑडिटरी लर्निंग नहीं हुई। Why? ये एक्शन वाइज होना चाहिए था और आप लोगों को भी सपोर्ट करना चाहिए इसमें। अगर ये टीचर्स ऑडिटरी लर्निंग का मतलब क्या हुआ? जब टीचर बोल रहे हैं तो सामने वाले सुन रहे हैं उस चीज को और वो क्या कर रहे हैं? उस एक्शन के साथ वो कर भी रहे हैं ना। Once again may I request Jyoti ma'am.
हाथी राजा बहुत बड़ा, सूर उठा के चला चला। चलो, हाथी राजा बहुत बड़ा,
हाथी राजा बहुत बड़ा, सूंड उठा के
चला चला।
सूंड उठा के कहाँ चला,
मेरा घर भी आओ ना,
मेरा घर भी आओ ना,
हलवा
पूरी खाओ ना, हलवा पूरी खाओ ना, कुर्सी पे बैठ जाओ ना, कुर्सी पे बैठ जाओ ना, कुर्सी बोली चटर बटर, कुर्सी बोली चटर बटर। थैंक यू।
Thank you. अब now I am also एक्टिविटी, मैं एक एक्टिविटी खुद भी करना चाहूंगी ऑडिटरी लर्निंग का। आप लोगों को मेरा साथ देना होगा। आप लोगों को मेरे साथ एक्शन भी करनी होगी। All are stand up. Two little dicky birds. Sitting on a wall.
Sitting on a wall,
One named Peter.
one named Peter,
Another named Paul.
another named Paul.
Fly away, Peter. ऑडिटरी लर्निंग का मतलब ही ये होता है कि जो हम बोल रहे हैं वो बच्चे सुने और एक्शन के साथ उसे वो करें। Auditory learning, there are many characteristics: outspoken and outgoing. Auditory learners learn through hearing, but then repeat the information to comprehend it fully. And auditory learners will most likely enjoy class discussion and being around other conversation with their peers. Reflective, and auditory learners hear the information and process it after hearing it, which makes an auditory learner reflective by nature. They may need to sit for a moment to understand a statement fully. They may also refer back to previous discussion and conversation to make sense of what is currently being taught. Excellent memories, and auditory learners may remember the smallest detail, a date, a name, or a place. Even though these details may be obscure, and auditory learners might remember them due to their very well-trained memory abilities. Learn through sound, and auditory learners learn best through sound. Repeating sound is a vital for the type of learner. For instance, an auditory learners may successfully memorize facts if they repeat the same fact aloud 3 times in a row while studying, enjoying speaking and acting. Because auditory learners learn through sound and repeating of sound, and auditory learners make a great actor or actors. सही है ना? एक्टर होना चाहिए तभी तो वो बच्चे को सिखा पाएंगे ना? Find noise distracting. Since auditory learners learn through sound, noise that distract their focus can hinder an auditory learners, especially in the classroom. When the auditory learner is committed to learning, they will want to filter out unnecessary noise. The filtering will allow auditory learners to focus on the information they want to commit to memory. May struggle if the information is presented in different mediums or more details, and auditory learners will have the easier time to learn new information through hearing. However, sometimes different mediums are used. और different types of learners भी होते हैं. There are many types of learners in our classroom. कोई बच्चा ज़्यादा सुनता है, कोई बच्चा कम सुन पाता है ना? There are many types of learners in our classroom. Some students do well with the kinesthetic, hands-on assignments, while others need visual aids to retain information. Some students learn best through the arts, while others needed a more logical approach. तो हम लोगों को स्टूडेंट की कैटेगरी भी देखनी चाहिए, किस बच्चे में क्या एबिलिटी है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग क्या करना है, उसे सिखाना है. Let's discuss the characteristics of an auditory learner. Learn by sound. Is it able to process information such as instruction or content information without writing it down? Enjoy actively participating in discussion both in small group and as a whole class. Remember experiences and information in detail such as names, place, date, etc. An auditory learner is the student that is able to recall information by simply hearing it. They may or may not feel the need to take notes because they excel at processing information by sound and usually have excellent memories. Like James in the example about the auditory learners may look as though they are not paying attention. Since here they may not processing stream for a simply listen to lecture, audiobook or video. This is called auditory learning. Next. A small video for you.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to this channel. Today we're talking about types of learners. There are four main types of learners. The first is visual, the second is auditory, the third is reading and writing, and the fourth is kinesthetic type of learner. Now these are all defined quite differently, and they really do determine the kind of style of revision and study and the way that you intake information. Now these different types of learners were identified in a research study in the early 90s where hundreds and thousands of hours of teaching and learning was observed, and they were able to pick out the different kind of learners, the different kind of like teachers, different kind of sort of learning styles. Now it is so important to know what type of learning you are, and I think I really want to get into the depth of this over the next sort of 4 videos whereby I'll be going through each of these different types of learners and sort of giving you the best learning techniques and some kind of tips for you if you're someone who falls under any of those one categories or a blend of those categories. I think I can probably attest to this, you probably can agree with me, but growing up we were usually told, I wasn't told, that there are different types of learners. I didn't know that particularly a visual learner, or you could be someone who learns only from sort of writing things down and memorization. We just assume that everyone learns in the same way, and this is where the problem lies. And I really want to challenge that in the next couple of videos, where I want to kind of just show you that you have a specific learning style and one should never fit all. I'm sure you've watched videos on YouTube that someone says, right, I got this grade, I got a first in my essay, and this is how I did it by memorizing all of this information. And you're there saying, well, I tried that and I didn't get the same grade. Well, you might not learn in that way, and that's why it's so crucial for you to, I guess, understand yourself and understand what your learning style is. So in today's video, I'm going to be going through the visual learning style. Approximately 40% of us are visual learners. Quite a big chunk of us are visual learners. So it's important to understand some of the things that you can apply when you're studying, when you're reading, when you're learning something to help you with using that skill that you've clearly built up over the years, and that's clearly best to suit you. I post every Wednesday and Sunday, so if you want to see videos similar to this, then don't forget to press the subscribe button to see more from me. As I said, I'll be going through all different types of learners, and so do keep following this channel if you want to figure out how other types of learners learn and whether you fit into all of those boxes. So to start off, I want to talk about the benefits of visual learning. There isn't one type of learner that's better than the other, and like I said, it's just a matter of identifying what suits you. So visual learners, they rely on colour, shapes, and sort of visual aids to help them convey the information that they're trying to learn. So they typically might do things like doodling, they might draw mind maps, they prefer presentations and pictograms and graphs and things where they can actually see the information, see the data presented in front of them. Now if you think about it, we communicate visually every single day. From the minute you're born, you're using visual communication. And in fact, it's one of the first senses that we are applying and using in life to learn from a really young age. It's actually, I consider, a bit of an innate learning style, because a newborn first learns visually. They first look at their parents when they're born, and they learn faces, and then they learn expression and emotions, and they learn how to communicate through their visual aids. And then they get older, and again they're still usually using their visual aids to be able to pick up signs and be able to communicate and let people know what they want before they can actually speak or before they can do anything else. And so it's almost natural to learn visually, even as you get older, because that's something that we've always been doing and we're always constantly doing on a daily basis. There's actually some research that was done quite a long time ago that showed that people who learn visually and those that can generate their own sort of visual aids from the text were able to learn and kind of gain as much information as those that were writing and that learned from sort of written aids. So again, like I said, it's not a matter of if one shoe is better than the other, it's not a matter of one learning style is better than another learning style. In fact, it's thought that someone who can translate written text into a visual aid is able to process information more deeply and take more meaning from the text itself. So that goes to show that actually you might have a bit of a step up if you are a visual learner. But ultimately it's about what suits you, and that's what we're going to go through in this video. So I'm going to give you about, I think, maybe 5 or 6 different tips and strategies that you can try to implement in your learning if you think you might be a visual learner. So to start off, visual learners, I would recommend using a timetable, something that can really help you visualize your day. Now remember, as a visual learner, you're someone who wants to see what's going on, not just sort of know what's going on, know you've got this learn today, or know you've got to learn this thing today, and actually visually see where that's going to fit into your day. So try to have some sort of schedule, try to kind of have a routine in place. Remember to timetable breaks in, remember to use different study techniques, because this can really help you with sort of trying to like diversify the way that you learn and kind of like the way you're inputting information. And also just think about getting rid of distraction, because you are a visual learner, so all the information that's coming in from the different sources around you is going to be stimulating. So try your best to sort of just have that one thing that you're looking at and remove all the other distractions away from you. So that could be your phone, that could be your laptop. If you can just have a textbook or just have whatever it is that you're learning to do, that is the best way to start the day. The second technique is color coding or symbol coding. Now as a visual learner, you're someone who really relies on signs and input and continual consistency when it comes to the way that your work is presented. So have some sort of system. So maybe in your maths work, if you're like a younger student, your maths can be all blue, highlighted just in blue, or maybe a subtopic can be highlighted just in yellow. Maybe you use exclamation marks or a specific symbol to show or denote a specific point. So let's say you're reading a research paper, if you're at university or you're a PhD student, you're reading a research paper, anywhere that it's, for example, a limitation, you might want to put an asterisk there. So you know that visually, wherever you see the asterisk, that means it's a limitation. Kind of having a code that you understand and that when you're looking through your work, you can just kind of visually like pinpoint that and identify what they mean really quickly. I think I'm a visual learner to some extent. I'm definitely a learner. I do think I'm more a visual learner. So this really works with me having sort of coding systems in place where I know what I mean, but it really helps me going through work later on. The third is mind mapping, and mind maps are something that we do, from a really young age. They help some people, but they don't help others. I find them semi-useful depending on the topic, but mind maps are really useful for a visual learner. So what you do with a mind map is you take a bit of text and you'll convert that into an information bubble. So what you do is you maybe start with the main topic, in the middle, and then you might branch out with a subtopic, and then you might branch out with like further ideas. And so what you're doing there is you're visualizing this process, you're visualizing the understanding of this specific topic, as opposed to it just being a paragraph of text. One thing to remember though is to make sure that you've got enough white space when it comes to your mind maps. I've seen mind maps where it's just a bunch of writing and a bunch of colours and information, and I mean if that works for you, go for it. But I think as a visual learner, you are stimulated by what's around you and the information that's around you. And so it's important to have white space as sort of like areas of break and areas of calm. It becomes quite difficult to read information when they're all crammed together, which is why a visual learner doesn't do well with like paragraphs of text. And so just converting that to a massive mind map on a sheet of paper is also not that useful. So do make sure you have enough sort of space around the page so you kind of have that balance of text and no text. The next technique is to ask for a demonstration or to demonstrate it. So I'm thinking, for example, here something to do with science or biology. You're learning about a microscope or a particular chemical reaction or a particular concept in chemistry. Instead of just learning that when you mix this with that, it turns blue, and just kind of memorizing that on paper, if you were to visually see that being done, that is, as a visual learner, a lot more useful to you than reading. That isn't that useful unless you've seen it in person. Now, it can be quite difficult to get a visual for every single thing, because a lot of the time your teacher will just say no, just obviously not possible when it comes to time to demonstrate every single thing, which is why YouTube exists and which is why the internet exists. What you can do is simply just search for the concepts and search for demonstration of this thing, and you can actually see how it works in person. One thing that I like to do, for example, is when I was learning about the electron microscope, and this was during my PhD, I found it quite hard to just read the text and understand, okay, the electron beam goes through here, then it bounces up here, and then it goes into here, and then, like, it's quite abstract. Well, these concepts are really abstract. abstract. It really helped to visualize it. So I watched a video where, even though it's just animated, but it showed me the path that beam took, which allowed me to then visualize my specimen through the lens. That now is like solidified in my brain, and I can replay that. It actually feels like cheating in the exam. It's like I can see what that looks like as if like it's being shown to me. So I find visual demonstrations really, really useful, and I definitely recommend that if you think you're a visual learner, try to scope out demonstrations of different concepts. And the last technique I have is to press hand out or to try to print out the information on paper so you can visually see it whilst it's being spoken. I guess this is an interesting one because this combines a couple of different learning styles. Let's imagine you've got a lecture or online now, so you're sitting down in the lecture, or the online lecture, you're being spoken to, so you've got auditory information coming in, which is a different learning style altogether. You're then watching the presentation, so you're visually learning, and then you're also having to like write and sort of things down, so you kind of combine three different learning styles all at the same time, which is challenging for anyone, especially someone who is just a visual learner. So one thing that you can do is having the notes pre-look at the notes before. So what that does is you look at the notes, you know what's coming, you've got that sort of visual in your head, you know what's coming. So when you're being spoken to, you have to be somewhat adaptive. And so when you're being spoken to, you're not using your visuals that much because you kind of looked at it already. You're just using your audio. So listening and listening for kind of what you've already read. So it's you've already used that visual learning style when you used it for the first time, and then now you're then going to apply the visual learning style to then scroll down those kind of things based on what you know what's coming. I find it really tough to kind of do all three at the same time and to learn. And so one of the biggest techniques that I learned during university in my undergrad was to look at the notes beforehand. I can't tell you how transformed my learning. Like the way that I took in information when I knew what was coming was on a different level to when you're like, oh, what's going to start with this? Like, it's really different. So I definitely recommend if you're a visual learner, and to be honest, no matter what kind of learner you are, I definitely think looking at your notes beforehand, knowing what's coming, kind of thinking about some questions that you might want to ask and some parts that you think, this is quite tricky, I need to focus at this time, means that you're able to kind of zone out for some part that you know you're okay with it, zone back in for other part, and it kind of keeps you balanced with the 2 hours or the 1 hour of the lectures. And it's all virtual now, so it's already so hard to keep up. So you definitely think about sort of like pre-look at the notes or pre-look at what's coming is really useful. So those are just some techniques that you can use, and those techniques that I applied when I was learning things, and I still really apply them to this day when it comes to information, even though I'm trying to take in some information. Like I said, I think I'm a blend of visual and I think when you listen, I definitely don't learn from listening, like it just goes in one and out the other. Whereas like my husband, for example, he can listen to something and he can recall it and he'll say exactly what you said after he's just listening. So I find it fascinating, like I can't recall after just listening. It's really important to understand what learner you are. Let me know what kind of learner you are. Do you know if you're a visual learner or do you know if you're another kind of learner? And if you are a visual learner and you have any other tips that you want to provide, then do let us know. What else do you use? I'm sure that there's other things that you can apply to be able to kind of boost your visual learning technique. Like I said, I will be following this video up, probably one video a week on the other 4 learning styles, the other 3 learning styles as well. But like I said, don't forget to follow me here on YouTube and on my Instagram and social media as well, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
I am asking one question for everyone. On which learning the last video was based? On which learning the last video was based?
Visual learning.
Anika ma'am is right.
Yes.
It is visual learning. से ये पता चलता है कि आप लोग कितना कॉन्सेंट्रेट कर रहे हो वीडियो में. Third is kinesthetic or tactile learning. What is kinesthetic learning? Before we try and define what is kinesthetic learning, let's first check a definition of word kinesthesia. The Compressed Dictionary defines kinesthesia as the ability to know where the parts of your body are and how they are moving. So, kinesthetic learning links the process of learning to physical activity. It is a learning style during which the learner has to feel or move in order to learn more effectively. Also referred to as tactile hands-on or physical learning, kinesthetic learning a part of the work model. The latter consists of three other main learning styles: visual, auditory and read and write. For kinesthetic learning, may I request Satya ma'am, please came in front and doing some activity.
We also I want to come.
Yes, ma'am.
भर गया
एक बार भी नहीं गए हम।
अरे छोड़ दीजिए बैठिए आप
उसके बाद आपके यहाँ पे एक सेलर बनेगा। कोई दुपट्टा लेके आएगा। हाँ, इनके सर में बांधिए। हाँ, करके लगेगा। यहाँ आकर आप खड़े हो जाइए। फिर मैं फ्रूट नेम करके बता दूंगी। उसके बाद यहाँ पे एक सेलर रहेगा। फिर मैं आप लोगों को कहूँगी BY फ्रूट्स नाम देकर के हु इज अबाउट फॉर मी, जो भी फ्रूट्स का नाम लूँगी उसको। तो कोई भी स्टूडेंट बोलेगा ना, मैं उनको भेजूंगी लाने के लिए। फिर ये पूछेंगे व्हाट डू यू वांट, तो फिर जो भी आप फ्रूट्स का नाम देंगे ये आपको वहाँ से निकाल कर देंगे। आप लेके फिर मेरे पास आएंगे। एक्शन नहीं करना। इट मींस जब मैं पूछूंगी हु इज अबाउट फॉर मी, एप्पल बनाना, जो भी बोलेंगे भी, उसके बाद आने के बाद एक एक्शन है। एक्शन मींस ये है जैसे बनाना आप लाए तो बनाने के लिए मैं वो चीज़ करूँगी। व्हाट इज दिस? दिस इज बनाना। बनाना बोलने के बाद व्हिच कलर, तो येलो कलर, लेकिन उसके बाद करना है पील द बनाना, पील द बनाना। ठीक है, उसमें एक्शन करना है। एंड देन ईट द बनाना। Okay, good morning students. Good morning. How are you all of you? Okay, now we will start fruits recognition. Okay, आज हम लोग fruits name भी करेंगे और साथ में recognition
ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी करेंगे. Okay, first of all, which fruit do you like, all of you? Mostly like mangoes. Okay, grapes, very good. Now today we will start fruits. Fruits name. Do you know fruits name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me.
Grapes, mango, papaya, orange.
Very good. Very good. Now we will make a fruit chart. Fruit chart. Who got me the fruits mango? Yes. Come. Come and go to take mango. Banana. Okay.
Okay, what do you want?
Okay.
20 rupees each.
Now she is a little student, so I don't think expected money.
And go and eat. Welcome.
Okay, what is this? Which color? Okay. Wash the banana, wash the banana, peel the banana, peel the banana, cut the banana, cut the banana. Take it its place. Okay, go now next. Who going next? कौन जा रहा है next? Okay, come.
Okay, beta, what you want? Yes. Okay, take this. Go and eat. Go.
What is this? Grapes. Very good. Which color? Purple. Which color? Purple. And what is the taste of grapes? Juicy and sour. ये खट्टे लगते ना कभी-कभी, है ना? Okay. Okay. Wash the grapes. Wash the grapes. Wash the grapes and keep it in their place. Go. Now next. Okay, Kiran ma'am. Come. Go. Okay, do you want orange? Yes. Go.
Okay, what you want? Orange. Take this.
What is this?
Orange.
Orange. And what is the color of orange?
Orange.
Orange color. It is also name mentioned in color. Yes, this is fruit but also name called colors name. Okay. Wash the grapes. Wash the grapes. Wash the grapes. Sorry. Wash the orange. Wash the orange. Peel the orange. Peel the orange. And take it this place. You want it? Okay, last we make fruit salad, then want it. Okay? Now next. Okay, which one? Okay. You naughty student without permission take it. What is this?
Apple.
Apple. Which color? Okay, great. Do you like apple? Okay. Wash the apple. Wash the apple. Wash the apple. Cut the apple. Cut the apple. Cut the apple. Do you? Here. Keep it here. Okay, now go. Now we will make fruit salad. आज इसका हम लोग fruit salad बनाएंगे. Okay, okay, come. Sorry, I forget.
Yes, Resham, how are you? What is that?
Thank you, auntie.
Also, beta. Okay, beta, go.
Thank you. What is this?
कट तो पहले ही किया हुआ है। ओके, आप लोगों की फ्रूट चाट रेडी हो रही है। ओके, आर यू हंग्री? यस। ओके,
So you want salt or chaat masala? What?
Yes, salt.
Salt. Okay.
चाट मसाला also है।
So, okay. So take this.
Are you hungry?
सीमा प्लेट है ना? प्लेट है। Yes, yes. Wait.
Take it. Take it.
Okay.
Okay.
You
And
can
what is
start.
that?
Take this.
Take it. But fruit salad है ना, तो all of them सभी को खाने होते हैं ना fruit salad में, not choice is your food.
Tasty. Okay.
Now you are understand by fruits. Do you know fruits and color? Okay, thank you. Now we will again tomorrow. Now classes again. Okay. Chocolates. Okay, chocolates.
Thank you.
Thank you all of you for this kinesthetic learning. It is also called hands-on learning or tactile learning. Fourth is reading and writing style. Reading and writing Reading and writing is one of the four learning styles of the work model of learning, which consists of visual, auditory, reading and writing, and kinesthetic learning. Sometimes referred to as the second visual style, reading and writing is a type of learning during while people prefer to read and write in order to learn more effectively. These learners are known as read and write learners and usually learn best by reading and writing in the information down. Characteristics of read and writing learn. Learn best by reading and taking notes, like reading out loud, use dictation and other sources, use dictionary and other sources, learn by reading their notes, can become great writers, become organized PowerPoint like researching, change to write detailed notes, excel at multiple choice and essay test written information. अब आप लोगों ने ये तो जान लिया what is learning, all are know ना what is learning, and there are 4 cores, उनके 5 cores होते हैं. First is visual, second is auditory, third is kinesthetic and fourth is read and write. इसके बाद हम लोग देखेंगे what is teaching. What is teaching? A small video for you.
This video is going to be specifically for kinesthetic activities that you can use with your students or your children if they're kinesthetic learners. I'm Janice and you're watching Sharp Cookie. This channel gives the best advice on learning, studying, and test taking. So please subscribe. I post new videos every week and I promise there is something valuable there for you. On this channel, you always get real tips from a real tutor. So today's video is on kinesthetic learners, but there's 3 other types. There's also verbal learners, visual, and auditory. And I'm doing a series with multiple videos on each one. If you'd like to learn more about kinesthetic learners in general and study tips for kinesthetic learners, I have a video on that. And if you want to learn about the other styles, maybe because you're the parent or the teacher of a student with a different style, please check those out. To give you just a brief overview of what a kinesthetic learner is, they tend to be people that are very active. They like to get up and do things. They want to build, they want to tinker, and play, and walk around and move. They're generally good at anything physical, so it could be a sport. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe they're really good at physical theater or comedy. But anything that involves movement is really great for kinesthetic learners. So, are you a kinesthetic learner? Let me know in the comments. The first activity is called Walk Around Quiz. And this is perfect for trying to review material that has already been learned. So it works with a group of people. They each write some questions down, and then they walk around the room and take turns asking different people different questions. So of course this works for kinesthetic learners because we're incorporating movement and interaction with others. So it's not about sitting and listening to a lecture, it's about discussing, interacting, and moving. Activity number 2. This one's called Agree or Disagree. And the way you set it up is you put signs around the room that say agree, somewhat agree, neither agree nor disagree, somewhat disagree, or strongly disagree. And then you pose a question that people usually have different opinions to, and then they will naturally formulate groups in that area of the room where their opinion coincides with. So let's say I ask you, do you believe kids should be allowed to bring cell phones to school? And then if you strongly agree, you're going to walk over to the area that's the strongly agree area. And then once everybody's moved and made their opinions, then they share and discuss with the class, and they have to defend their opinions. This next activity is called Small Group Questions. This is one that is very common. I've actually done this in a lot of different scenarios. You have people mull around and then they meet up into groups of 3. And once they're in their groups, you just ask a question. And then all the people in their little mini groups will discuss that question. And maybe after a couple minutes, you say switch, and then everybody starts walking around again, and they form new groups of 3 with new people. I've also seen this as an icebreaker, and that works really well. And of course, it's perfect for kinesthetic learners because you're moving and you're discussing and interacting. The next activity is creating an interactive model. And I'm going to give you some examples because it's a little bit hard to explain. But basically, you want to create some sort of model that the student can participate in fully. So one example would be to get some masking tape and to make a giant grid on the floor if you're teaching, for example, coordinate geometry. So you might make this giant grid out of tape and then have students stand at particular points and maybe even link arms up and create lines and parabolas and circles. So that's a great way of physically getting into something. Another example would be, let's say you're teaching your students about the heart. You could make a giant paper model of a heart, put it on the floor, have the students walk around, have them simulate where the blood flow would go in and out and stand where different valves are. So the more you can make these large-scale models and get the class physically involved, your kinesthetic learners are going to do great. The next activity I recommend are learning stations. And this is another one that I think is fairly common. Basically, you need to set up little stations around the room, and then people walk to a certain station, do the activities. So maybe again it's a lab where they have to build a model of something, and after a certain period of time, they switch and they walk to a different station and they do a different activity. Now, typically, you want to make sure that the activities are all related under the same topic or theme that you're teaching, and then your students will get an even better idea of what's going on. So this next activity is called gallery. The way you set it up is you have sheets of paper that are spread all around the room, and they might have a quote, they might have a picture, it depends on the subject you're teaching, and then you have a piece of paper right next to it, and your students will go around and write some sort of comment, reaction, opinion about whatever it is was posted, and then they go to some other part of the gallery and they react to that. And our last activity is called acting or simulation. And this is the one where you literally want your students to be doing what you're teaching. So if you're giving some sort of lesson on maybe CPR, you want to have the dummy out in front of them and you want them actually doing all of the CPR movements. So of course you can demonstrate it, but then you need the students to also do it themselves. This is a great one for parents. If you want your children to do a certain thing and they're kinesthetic learners, actually have them do it. So if you want them to learn to do their own laundry, stand there, show them, and then put the clothes in their hands and actually have them do it. Another example of this would be play acting. So Model UN would be great for kinesthetic learners, or let's say they're learning about the Continental Congress, have everybody be a different politician and act it out and discuss. So anytime you can incorporate role-playing or simulating exactly what you want your learner to do, that's going to work great. That's all the activities I have to share with you. So I'd love it if you went out, tried them, saw what worked and didn't work for your students. If you'd like to learn more and join our Sharp Cookie community where we can discuss this topic and other topics around learning, studying, and test taking, please go on Facebook and find Sharp Cookie Community, and I also have a link below that'll take you right there. I also do online virtual tutoring if this is something you're interested in.
You all are know what is learning and what is their core goal. Next is what is teaching.
Next.
Teaching is fundamentally a process including planning, implementation, evaluation and revision. Planning and teaching a class or familiar ideas to most instructors, moreover are the step of evaluation and revision. अब you all are teacher, तो मेरे को लगता है कि आप लोगों को ज़्यादा बताने की ज़रूरत नहीं है कि टीचिंग मेथड क्या होता है, because at that time when you are in your classroom, in the present of mind should be there. आप लोगों को अपना दिमाग वहाँ पे लगाना है कि क्या पढ़ाना है, कैसे पढ़ाना है, किस वे में हमको जाना है. You don't have to prepare that I am teaching and I am teaching or explaining the chapter Mughal Empire. I would only say I would only given the lecture of that topic. ये कर सकते हैं. But if you are a math teacher, simply I am not going to math solution like 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Like add is, teaching style is not like this. Teaching style depend upon the learning needs. हम लोग उसको कैसे सिखाएंगे? 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. दो बच्चे को बुलाते हैं, दो और बच्चे को बुलाते हैं, वो उसको इंक्लूड करते हैं, तो उससे वो सीख सकते हैं 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि टीचर को अपना दिमाग वहाँ पे लगाना है, कॉन्सेंट्रेट करना है, क्योंकि उस टाइम आप लोग वहाँ पे रहते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम लोग जब बीएड कर रहे थे उस टाइम हम लोग को एक वर्ड्स एक क्या बोला जाए उसको शब्द बताया गया था सुबोपल्ली. कैन आई राइट एनीवन इन दिस बोर्ड सुबोपल्ली?
हिंदी सुबोपल्ली.
Yes, 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 yes. इस चीज से ये हम लोग को सिखाया गया था कि इसका मतलब क्या होता है.
पहले सुनते हैं, फिर बोलते हैं, फिर पढ़ते हैं, उसके बाद लिखते हैं.
वेरी नाइस रीता मैम.
उसमें कम नहीं.
वो पहले वो बताया गया था का उसमें था है ना एक सेंटेंस एक इमेजिन कर दिया गया. ऐसा इसका कुछ मतलब नहीं होता है. बस वो हम लोगों को क्या करना था कि वो सीखना था किसके जरिए हम ये नहीं मतलब हम लोग जैसे लर्निंग और टीचिंग स्टाइल अभी हम लोग जान रहे हैं तो इसका हम लोग को ऐसे बताया गया था कि बच्चे कैसे रिकॉग्नाइज करते हैं. पहला हो गया सुनकर, बोलकर, पढ़कर और लिखकर. बस हम लोगों को वो सिखाया गया था कि बच्चों को इसके जरिए आप मतलब ये रिकॉग्नाइज करवा सकते हो. वैसे सारे टीचर्स के मेथड्स तो अलग अलग होते हैं लेकिन कभी एक ही मेथड से अगर हम पढ़ाने लगे तो बच्चा भी क्या होता है बोर हो जाता है. इसी उसके क्या होता है कि सीखने की इच्छा खत्म हो जाती है. नेक्स्ट टाइम वो क्लास ज्वाइन करना चाहता नहीं है. उसके बाद हम लोग क्या करते हैं कुछ अलग देने की कुछ अलग तरीके से करने की कोशिश करते हैं ताकि बच्चा उसको इजीली एब्जॉर्ब करे वो सीख जाए. तो हम लोग यहाँ पे देखेंगे बहुत सारे मेथड है टीचिंग के और आप लोग भी बहुत सारे मेथड जानते होंगे. Can anyone, would you like to read it? Yes, ma'am, Anita ma'am.
Hello. Following are teaching methods. First, storytelling. Second, textbooks. Third, lecture methods. Fourth, demonstration method. Fifth, tutorial method. Sixth, question and answer method. Seventh, discussion method. And last, heuristic method.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I want to show some teaching method on activity. Activity के जरिए कुछ मैं teaching method को show करना चाहती हूँ. First, I would like to call Seema ma'am for storytelling method.
Not feeling very technical. Just not feeling well. Can I add? Yes.
Story or story.
The air and
jumps again and again, but in vain. At last they think the grass are short. Thank you.
Anyone?
My story is the rabbit and the tortoise. Once upon a time there was a rabbit and a tortoise. They were very good friends. The rabbit always bursted at his good and faster than the tortoise. So they decided to have a race, and they choose a starting and a finishing point. The rabbit ran really fast and through that tortoise, and he too slow and he can rest for a while. So he stopped under a tree and went to sleep. Meanwhile, the tortoise kept walking and whole time and reached the winning point. When the rabbit woke up and saw that the tortoise has already won this race. Now, moral of this story is slow. Yes, so moral of this story is, anybody? Okay, moral of this story is slow and steady wins the race. यानी आप धीरे चलते हुए भी अपने विनिंग पॉइंट पे पहुंच सकते हैं अगर आप बीच में लेजी फील ना करें तो. इस स्टोरी एंड नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ स्टोरी इज द टॉर्टोइज एंड द हियर? एनीवन?
Once more, ma'am. Question.
What kind of a story is the tortoise and the hare? No one? Okay, I will ask. It doesn't matter how slow you go, so long as you do not stop it, you don't achieve the goal. यानी अगर आप yes,
It shows continuity.
yes.
We got moral of this story that if we are doing our work continually, then we can win. And if we are hurried, then we can make some mistakes and we can failure. So we have to continue for our work, so we can win and we can achieve our goal. Thank you.
Meaning of overconfident is always losers. ओके, आपके लिए ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट का मतलब है यस आई विल डू, मैं कर लूँगा, मैं ये करूँगा, बट यहाँ ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट की जरूरत नहीं है. योर विल पावर इज स्ट्रॉन्ग, सो यू आर लेजी ऑल्सो, यू जस्ट विनिंग अ गोल पॉइंट. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am. This is called storytelling method. In this method, teachers present lesson the form of stories. Teachers can also come up with stories related to the subject in the middle of a lesson to make the session more interesting. As the students usually love hearing stories, these methods of teaching is sure to grab their attention. एक टीचर का मकसद क्या है? आज मेरे सेशन का इंटेंशन है कि मैं 1-2 घंटा पूरा कर लूँ, 1 घंटा तो हो जाएगा, लेकिन यहाँ पर मैंने आपको भी क्या है टाइम दिया हुआ है, और अगर मैंने सही ढंग से कुछ नहीं बताया तो मेरे ट्रेनिंग का कोई मतलब नहीं रह जाएगा. ये इंटेंशन होना चाहिए और हम यही इंटेंशन स्टूडेंट को लेकर भी चलते हैं कि कुछ भी हम स्टूडेंट को बताते हैं तो वो क्या होता है उससे वो कुछ सीखते हैं, और ये हमारी क्या होती है रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है कि वो बच्चे कुछ सीखें. सेकंड मेथड इज टेक्स्ट बुक. In this method, give the content textbook according to the age of students. Textbook method of develop reading skill and correct writing skill. In this method, teacher and students care center based depending age, content level and class. इसमें स्टूडेंट क्या होते हैं, सेंटर होते हैं, केंद्र बिंदु जिसको बोला जाता है। स्टूडेंट होते हैं वो एक्टिव ज़्यादा होते हैं और उसी को कैसे वो इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं, हम लोगों को उसमें ध्यान देना है। कैसे उसकी राइटिंग को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं, कैसे उसकी रीडिंग को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं, ये होना चाहिए। थर्ड इज लेक्चर मेथड। लेक्चर इज द मोस्ट common method of teaching. Lecture delivers concepts. It delivers a lot of information in short amount of time. Convey information that is difficult to present in another way. ये क्या है, वन साइडेड है। आप पढ़ा रहे हो, बच्चा सुन रहा है। जब हम बड़े ग्रुप को जब हम समझाते हैं तो बहुत कम समय में वो लेक्चर को बहुत सही ढंग से उसको क्या करना होता है, समझाना होता है। लेक्चर मेथड इज ऑल्सो नॉन एज ट्रेडिशनल मेथड और लेक्चर मेथड इज ऑल्सो नॉन एज गुरुकुल मेथड। लेक्चर मेथड को हम लोग क्या बोल सकते हैं, गुरुकुल मेथड भी बोल सकते हैं। ऑल्सो नॉन एज टॉक एंड टॉक। पहले लोग रामायण या कहीं की गुरु शिक्षा देते थे, अभी हम यहाँ बहुत, हमारे पास बहुत सारी सुविधाएं हैं, व्याख्यान देते हैं, तो स्टूडेंट उसे क्या करते हैं, अडॉप्ट करते हैं। पहले वो गुरुकुल शिक्षा कहलाती थी। फोर्थ इज डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन मेथड। For demonstration method, I would like to call Rajana ma'am. Please came in front and showing some activity.
Good morning everyone. मैं श्रीमती रंजना गुप्ता। आज जैसा कि हम लोग देख रहे हैं, सीबीएसई का पैटर्न हमारा सारा स्कूल होता जा रहा है और वहाँ खास करके हिंदी विषय पर जागरूकता कम होती चली जा रही है। अगर हम छोटी छोटी बातों का ध्यान रखते हैं तो हिंदी बहुत ही आदरणीय, माननीय और एक ऐसा सब्जेक्ट, ऐसा विषय बन जाता है जिसकी तुलना और किसी भाषा से नहीं की जा सकती है। अगर हम शुरुआती दौर में ही बच्चों को इसका ज्ञान दे दें कि इसके बारे में कैसे जानना है और इसकी शुरुआत कैसे होती है, तो आपका हिंदी जो विषय है वो बहुत ही अच्छा बन जाता है। किसी तरह इंग्लिश के ग्रामर या हिंदी के संज्ञा, ये सबको लेकर के अगर चलते हैं, ये तो बहुत दूर की बात है। सबसे पहले होती है कि उसकी शुरुआत कैसे होती है। तो हम हिंदी की शुरुआत बोलने के साथ साथ आरेख और मात्राओं के माध्यम से करते हैं। हिंदी की सबसे पहले लिखने की विधि हो जाती है आपकी, हिंदी की जो होती है वो 12 खड़ी मात्रा का ज्ञान होना। जैसे कि हम लोग बच्चों को अगर ज्ञान देते हैं, अ, आ, ई, उ, ए, ओ, औ, अ। इसी में हमारे जितने भी वर्ण हैं, क से लेकर के ज्ञान तक, अगर उनमें हम इन मात्राओं को जोड़ दे तो शब्दों का ज्ञान अपने आप बहुरूपी सबको आ जाता है और हिंदी जो विषय है वो काफी दिलचस्प बन जाता है और इनकी मात्राओं में कहीं भी त्रुटि फिर नहीं कर सकते हैं। जैसे कि यहाँ पर हम लोग एक छोटे से उदाहरण के द्वारा दे सकते हैं। वर्ण का पहला अक्षर आपका क हो जाता है, तो हम अ जो बोलते हैं वो किसी वर्ण में छुपा हुआ रहता है, उसमें अ की मात्रा कहीं भी नहीं डाली जा सकती है, जैसा कि क। इसमें अ छुपा होने के बावजूद ये क ही पढ़ा जा सकता है। अगर इसमें आकार की मात्रा जोड़ देते हैं तो ये हो जाता है का। उसी तरह इसमें छोटी ई की मात्रा जोड़ देते हैं तो हो जाती है की, और बड़ी ई की मात्रा को हम जोड़ देते हैं तो बन जाता है की। छोटी ऊ की मात्रा जोड़ते हैं तो बन जाता है गु। बड़ी ऊ की मात्रा जोड़ते हैं तो बन जाता है कु। इसके बाद हम ए की मात्रा को जोड़ते हैं तो बन जाता है के। ए की मात्रा जोड़ते हैं तो बनता है कै। ओ की मात्रा को जोड़ते हैं तो बन जाता है को। औ की मात्रा को जोड़ देते हैं तो बनता है कौ। अम की मात्रा को जोड़ते हैं तो बन जाता है क। और लास्ट में यानी कि आखिरी में अम की मात्रा जोड़ देते हैं तो बन जाता है कम। इसी तरह से अगर हमें 12 खड़ी की मात्रा का ज्ञान हो तो क से ज्ञ तक के वर्णों को हम आसानी से याद कर लेते हैं तो शब्दों का ज्ञान बहुत ही आसानी से हो जाता है और फिर हिंदी के शब्दों को जोड़ने में और उसमें कहीं भी त्रुटि नहीं हो सकती है। अगर इसी में ख, ग, घ, च, ये सब की मात्राओं में हम मात्रा को लगाते चले जाते हैं वर्ण में तो आपकी हिंदी का जो विषय है वो बहुत ही दिलचस्प हो जाता है और आगे आपको कहीं भी शब्दों का ज्ञान में त्रुटि नहीं मिलेगा और बहुत आसानी से आप इसको अवलोकन करते हुए सीख सकते हैं। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद रंजना मैम, वेरी वेल एक्सप्लेन। ये जो अभी आप लोगों ने TLM के जरिए आप लोगों ने 12 खड़ी सीखी। व्हाट इज द फुल फॉर्म ऑफ TLM? टीचिंग लर्निंग मटेरियल, नॉट मेथड। टीचिंग, ये जो कॉपी जो थी जिसमें 12 खड़ी बताई हुई है ये क्या है? टीचिंग के लर्निंग मटेरियल। ये मटेरियल्स बनाकर आप लोग भी अपने क्लास में यूज कर सकते हो। फिफ्थ नंबर इज ट्यूटोरियल मेथड। A tutorial method is education is a method of transferring knowledge and may be used as a part of learning process, more interactive and specific than a book or a lecture. A tutorial seeks to teach by example and supply in information to complete a certain task. ये आजकल कॉमन है, समय बदल रहा है। YouTube पर ये आजकल बहुत चल रहा है। ये एजुकेशन की विधि है, इसमें नॉलेज की क्या होते हैं, ट्रांसफर होते रहते हैं। जितने नए नए नॉलेज के पार्ट्स आते जाते हैं, नॉलेज के ऑब्जेक्ट आते जाते हैं, हम उसको क्या करते हैं, यूज करते जाते हैं। प्रत्येक पार्ट को क्लियर करते जाते हैं और स्टेप बाय स्टेप सारे विषय को क्या करते हैं, बताते जाते हैं और ये क्या है, महत्वपूर्ण होता जाता है और ये टास्क जो क्या है, कंप्लीट हो जाता है। नेक्स्ट इज क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर मेथड। इसको सुकरात मेथड कहा जाता है। इस मेथड को इन्होंने शुरुआत किया था। ये मेथड दोनों तरफ से चलती है, टीचर एंड स्टूडेंट। लेकिन कभी कभी क्या होता है, क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर इज अ टीचिंग मेथड दैट अलाउज डायरेक्ट communication, that is two-way traffic, because at the same time there is a dialogue between the teacher and the students. Question and answer method is indeed to stimulate students thinking and guide them in achieving or gaining knowledge. So this type of method, may I call you Bima ma'am? Please come in front and asking some question in two groups. First of all, you will divide into two groups.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Viva Singh. I am presenting here some question, some simple question, a very hard question. Group A and Group B. My first question is, what is the work of chlorophyll in plant?
What is the work of chlorophyll? Prepare food. Anyone?
It is the teacher of plant.
It is the
Teacher of plant.
what is the work of chlorophyll plant? What is the work? Only work. Only work. It is present color, but its work is absorb sunlight. Next question is who is the first Prime Minister of our country? First Prime Minister of our country. Yes. In which part digestion in human start? In which part start digestion in human part? Start. Next one, no. Right answer is mouth. First, eating food in mouth. Then start. Next, who is the first person breathes in moon? Breathes. Neil Armstrong. Yes. Next, A plus B whole square equals to this was in math subject. A plus B whole square is equal to सभी हम लोगों को राज्य स्तर पढ़ाए थे, स्रोत स्तर पढ़ाए थे, इसलिए सोची कि ये क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट, A square minus B square is equal to A square minus B square is equal to yes, A plus B, A minus B. A square minus B square is equal to सर वो पहले था A square minus B square is equal to yes A plus B whole square is equal to
A plus B whole square equal to A minus B whole square plus 4A.
Who wrote our national song? Who wrote our national song? Yes, Bankim Chand Chatterjee. अच्छा, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है ताजमहल को बनाने में कितने वर्ष लगे थे? 22 ताजमहल को बनाने में कितने वर्ष लगे थे? 22 years. 22 years. What is the color of our national? What is the national color of India? What is the color of our country? Color, yes. सभी तो animals, fruits, birds सभी लोग जानते हैं. But color, I'm asking question color. Saffron, जिसको कि हिंदी में हम लोग भगवा कहते हैं. Yes, भगवा. एजुकेशन, शिक्षा जो है वो सर्वप्रथम किस देश में? शिक्षा सबसे बेटर अभी किस कंट्री में? कनाडा. यस, यस. Country, Canada. Yes, not state, country. Next question is किसकी बारी है? हाथी एक दिन में कितना लीटर पानी पीता है? हाथी एक दिन में कितना लीटर पानी पीता है? 40 लीटर. Thanks.
Thank you, Viva ma'am. This is called question answer method. Next is discussion method. Discussion method is a variety of forms for open-ended collaborative exchange in the ideas among a teacher and students for the purpose of furthering students' thinking, learning, problem solving, understanding और literacy appreciation. इसमें उसके सोचने का, जानने का, प्रॉब्लम रिलेटेड सॉल्विंग होता है. उसको इसके लिए उसको क्या किया जाता है, अप्रिशिएट किया जाता है, उसे समझाते हैं एक आइडिया से, डिबेट भी करते हैं. इसमें बच्चे के अंदर उसके उसको धैर्य, उसके मतलब धैर्य को परखा जाता है कि आप कितना पेशेंस रख सकते हो, आप उनको सुन सकते हो. सही डिस्कशन वही होता है जब दोनों तरफ से एक दूसरे के भाव को समझा जाए. ऐसा नहीं कि वो बोल रहे हैं तो उसके अगेंस्ट हम कुछ भी बोल दें. डिस्कशन मेथड का ये मतलब नहीं होता है. नेक्स्ट इज ह्यूरिस्टिक मेथड. इसमें क्या होता है कि बच्चों को कार्य दे दिए जाते हैं. ये ह्यूरिस्टिक मेथड होता है किसी भी विषय को लेकर. नाउ आई एम calling 4 or 5 teachers as a students came in front for holistic method. Can I distribute the paper, everyone? One paper. आपको जितनी जल्दी हो सके, मैं 1 2 3 बोलूंगी, आपको बोर्ड बनाना है. बोर्ड, नाव, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं नाव. बच्चे बहुत इंटरेस्ट लेते हैं. यस 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 यस. आपको बोर्ड बनाना है. देखती हूँ कितनी जल्दी आप लोग बना सकते हो. इसमें मेरी कोई हेल्प नहीं होगी. 1 2 3 स्टार्ट.
ये यार उसको चलाना भी होगा.
Yes, Premlata is first. Second is Jyoti Gupta. Third is Bhupen. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the making the board. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Very nice board. It is called heuristic method. क्योंकि इसमें टीचर की कोई इन्वॉल्वेशन नहीं होती. टीचर उन्हें नहीं बताते कि आपको कैसे बनाना है और क्या करना है. बच्चे क्या करते हैं, वो अपना दिमाग उसमें खुद ही लगाते हैं. टीचर क्या करेंगे, वो साइड ऊपर देखेंगे कि बच्चे क्या दिमाग लगा रहे हैं उसमें, कैसे वो उसको बना रहे हैं, कैसे वो प्रॉब्लम को सॉर्ट आउट कर रहे हैं. The heuristic method of teaching is economic and fast strategy. In the heuristic method, the student must be an independent discoverer. So there is no teacher help or guidance in the method. In this method, the teacher poses as a problem to the students. Then stand aside while they discover the answer. टीचर एक प्रॉब्लम बन के वहाँ पे खड़े रहते हैं कि नहीं, अब जो करना है आप ही को करना है. This is called heuristic method. Next is discovery method. मतलब खोजबीन. जो देखते हैं कि बच्चा पढ़े जा रहा है, उसे खोजबीन का अभाव है. अगर उसके अंदर ये भाव जगाना है तो हमें ये जानकारी देनी होगी कि ये मेथड है क्या. और largely understood method or psychology or teaching whereby students are permitted to find solution. और आजकल सबसे बेहतर सॉल्यूशन क्या है हमारा, सोशल नेटवर्किंग, मोबाइल फोन. अच्छे से अच्छे प्रॉब्लम की सॉल्विंग हमें उसमें मिल जाती है. आइडेंटिफाई करें और करके देखिए कि किस तरीके से वो बच्चे अपनी प्रॉब्लम को सॉर्ट आउट कर रहा है। Last is project method. Last but not the least, the project method is a teacher, facilitator, collaborate approach in which a student acquires and apply knowledge and skill to define and solve realistic problem using a process of extent, ensuring project are student centered. I would like to call Premlata ma'am. Please came in front and showing what is project method.
संगीता मैम के पास जाते हैं।
For this project activity, I would like to four persons please came in front. Four person came in front.
Very excited. Now I am going to start how to be shapes. Okay? Now let's see. Look at the board. What shape is this? Now according to this, I am going to give you the activity, some activity. So show me the circle with the help of the ice cream sticks. Okay, ma'am. Now show me. You have done? Yes. Okay, very nice. And please anyone tell me any two objects of the shape circle. Ball, wheel, yes. Now my second shape says square. Now show me. Show me with the help of ice cream sticks. Yes, ma'am, done. You have done? Yes, ma'am. Now tell me any two objects. It's yes, Ludo, carom board, very good. Very good. Now my third shape is triangle. Now show me. Very nice. Now tell me two objects. Christmas cap. Yes. Ice cream. Very good. What is that? Ice cream. Yes. And my last
shape is rectangle. Please show me. Now can you do all this? Yes, very good. Very nice.
And harmonium, madam.
Yes, duster, pencil box, etc. Okay? Now, this is the completed. And one more shape. It is the shape of oval. Now give any two example, like two objects. Yes. One is egg. Another is balloon. Very good. Very nice. Now, thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you all of you. This is called project method. What is teaching? Teaching is an interactive process. Teaching is a both formal and informal. Teaching is art, craft as well science. Teaching is not one-sided. Teaching is not an independent activity. Teaching is a planned activity. Good teaching is a democratic. Last but not the least, learning and teaching style refer to preferred method of receiving and delivering information. While most students have a preferred learning style, most current research suggests that students can learn in a number of different ways. The understanding of learning and teaching style allows students to participate, recognize when a particular method of learning is creating difficulties and adjust their learning practice with intentionality. At last, thanks all of you. Thanks for your giving me your precious time. Thank you for management. Thanks Vijay sir, Ranjan sir and Samsen sir for supporting me. Thanks all of you.